Hi friends, welcome back to Parnika tutorials. In this video, I want to discuss about the opacity or transparency property in CSS. So I sincerely request everyone to watch the complete video for better understanding. The opacity property specifies the opacity of an element. For an image or for a button, if you want to control the opacity, that you can do with the help of opacity property in CSS. The opacity property can take a value from 0.0 to 1.0, means you can provide value between 0.0 to 1.0. If you want less opacity, you need to provide the less value. If you want more opacity for an HTML element, then you can provide the more value between 0.0 to 1.0. Now let me discuss this opacity property with an example so that it will be clear for you. Let me go to the desktop, CSS, let me right click on it, new, text document, and I will write it as opacity.html. So the file name is opacity and the extension is HTML. Are you sure you want to change it? Yes, I want to do it. Let me right click on this document, open with Notepad++, and then I will write the basic HTML template. So I will write doc type HTML, and then I need to provide the HTML open tag and HTML closing tag. Now between the HTML open tag and close tag, you will have two main tags. One is the head tag and the body tag. The head tag consists of the metadata, title of the web page, and then internal style sheets. When it comes to the body tag, it consists of the information which you want to display on the web page. So let me provide the title tag inside the head tag. So I will write here as opacity property in CSS. Let me close the title tag, and then I will open the body tag and then close the body tag. And now inside this body tag, I will use the img tag to add an image. So I will write img and I will provide the source src is equal to, in the CSS folder there is a logo.jpg is there. That image I want to display. As this image is there in the same folder of our program called opacity.html, directly you can provide the file name logo.jpg. So logo is the name of the file and the extension is JPG. So the same information I have provided, and then I need to close the tag. Let me save this one, go to the CSS, and then right click on the opacity.html, open with Google Chrome. Now you can see the Parnika tutorials YouTube channel logo has been displayed. Now if you observe, we got high opacity, which is the more opacity is there. Now if you want to control this opacity for this image, then you can use the opacity property. Let me do that one. I will go to the head tag and I will provide the style tag, and then provide the type is equal to text or CSS, and then let me close the style tag, and then I will use the internal style sheets here. So I will write img. For this img tag, I want to add the opacity property. So I'm using the tag based selector, because for this img HTML element I want to add some styles. So I have used the img as the tag, and then I want to write opacity is the name of the property, and the value I can provide from 0.0 to 1.0. Let me provide the value as 0.4, and let me close this one, save this program, go to the browser, and let me refresh it. Now you can observe the opacity of the image has been reduced. If you make it to some 0.9, let me save this one, go to the browser, and let me refresh it. Now you can observe the opacity has been increased. So if you want to control the opacity of any HTML element, in this scenario we have used the property as opacity and the element we have taken as img. For this image we are controlling the transparency or the opacity. Now let me discuss few more examples so that it will be clear for you. So what I will do, I will take some buttons. For that buttons I will control the opacity. Let me remove this image. Then I will use the button tag to provide the button. So I will write HTML and then I will close the button. So I'm creating one button and then I will provide the break tag because after this button I want the next button in next line. So I will write Java and I will close the button tag. Now let me save this one. Go to the browser and let me refresh it. Now you can see two buttons have been displayed. One is HTML and another one is Java. Let me provide one more break tag. Let me save this one, go to the browser and let me refresh it. Now we can see two buttons are there. One is HTML and another one is Java. Now let me control the opacity of these two buttons. How can I do? I can use the opacity property. So in place of img tag, I will use the button tag and I will write the opacity as 0.4. Let me save this one, go to the browser and let me refresh it. Now you can see the transparency has been increased. If you want to reduce the transparency, you can provide the more opacity value. Let me save this one, go to the browser and let me refresh it. Now you can see the transparency has been reduced. So the opacity value, if you provide less, then the content will be more transparent. If you give high opacity value, the transparency will be less. Now let me discuss how can we provide the transparency or opacity using RGBA. When we have discussed about the color property, we have discussed about the RGB. There R stands for red component, G stands for green component, B stands for blue component. There we have RGBA also. An RGBA color value is specified with red component, green component, blue component and also alpha. The alpha parameter is a number between 0.0 to 1.0. This alpha only specifies the opacity or transparency. Now let me discuss this concept with an example so that it will be clear for you. Let me use the div tag and then I will display the content. Let me write it as Parnika tutorials and let me close the div tag and then I will use the div tag as a tag based selector and then I will provide it as color and then I will write RGBA and then I will provide the red component as 255, green component as 0, blue component as 0 and the alpha value I will provide it as 0.5. Let me save this program, go to the browser and let me refresh it. Then Parnika tutorials will be displayed in red font and the opacity value we have provided as 0.5. So that's why the opacity has been reduced. If you make it to full opacity, you can provide it as 1.0. Now let me save this one, go to the browser and let me refresh it. Now you can see the Parnika tutorials has been displayed with 100% opacity. Now let me discuss one more example so that how can you use this opacity property. So what I will do, I will design a beautiful web page for you so that it will be clear for you. So first let me write all the styles I want to use in this web page. So for the div tag, I will use the background, which is the class of the div tag. So div is a tag and then you have used and then background is the class. Then I will write background. I can provide it as URL. Then I will write the logo.jpg. I will provide the image and then I want to repeat that image and then I want to use the border property. I will provide the width as 5 pixels and the style I will provide it as solid and the color I will provide it as red. Let me end this one. Then I will use the div tag for the class called transbox. I will provide some style. So I will write transbox and then I will use the margin property to provide the margin for this element. I will provide the 30 pixels as the margin. Then I will use the background hyphen color and I will use the color as FF. And then again I will use the border property and then border width I will provide it as 1 pixel. Solid border I want in the color black, and then I will have the opacity value as 0.6. Let me end this transbox class div tag style. Then for the div tag for the transbox class, for the tag called p tag, I want to specify the style. So like this you can use the selectors to select the styles for each element. So I will provide the margin as 5%. Let me end with semicolon. Then I will write font hyphen width. So I want to specify the width for the font and then I will write it as bold and then I will use the color as 00000 and let me end with semicolon, close the curly braces. So all the styles whatever I want to specify I have provided. Now let me go to the body tag and add some tags here. So let me use the div and we have taken the class as background. So let me provide here the class name as background inside the div tag. And then let me have another div tag. For this div tag, I am providing the class as transbox. And inside this one, I will use the paragraph tag and I will display the content as hi friends, welcome to Parnika tutorials. Let me close the paragraph tag and let me close the internal div tag and then external div tag. So what I have done is, if you observe clearly, I have taken the div tag. For this div tag, I have taken the class as background. For this one, we have provided the style. Even we have taken another div tag and I have given the class name as transbox. For this one, we have provided the style. And inside the div tag where the class is equal to transbox, whenever you are using the paragraph tag, for that one, whatever the styles you want to provide, that you have provided. Let me save this one, go to the browser and let me see what will happen. Now you can see the content have been displayed beautifully, like hi friends, welcome to Parnika tutorials, and the Parnika tutorials logo has been repeated and then the border has came as red color. If you want to change it, okay, let me make this one as green color. Then let's see what will happen. 0000 FF I will provide. So hi friends, welcome to Parnika tutorials. I want to display in green color. Let me save it and refresh it. Now you can see hi friends, welcome to Parnika tutorials have been displayed in green color. Okay, so like this you can use the opacity property. See, for this one the opacity has been reduced. Okay, so like this you can design the beautiful styles using the CSS. I hope it is clear for you. If you still have any doubts related to the opacity property, feel free to ask me in the comment section. I will try to clear your doubts as early as possible. Thank you for watching the complete video. Have a nice day.